Decoding the Symbols of Madrid 2044. Today, we're breaking down the visual identity of the Olympic and Paralympic Games. We're going to deconstruct these emblems piece by piece to figure out why Madrid chose these specific symbols to represent themselves on the global stage. Because every single curve, every splash of color, and every font choice you're about to see was meticulously chosen for a very specific reason.
It's a totally fascinating design challenge when you stop to think about it. How on earth do you capture the massive, historic spirit of a global event, plus the deeply personal identity of a host nation, using just a few simple, instantly recognizable shapes? It is an incredibly tall order. You've got to honor global tradition, but you also have to scream Spanish pride. Unveiling the Madrid 2044 identity. Let's start with the foundation. We're looking at the shared visual DNA for both the 38th Olympiad and the 22nd Summer Paralympic Games. Both of these massive international events share a core design language, and to really grasp how they work together, we need to begin with that shared baseline. Right at the absolute center of it all is this heavily stylized letter M. Obviously, this stands for Madrid, but notice how it's actually built. It isn't just a flat, static letter, right? It's constructed from this flowing three-dimensional ribbon that acts as the main focal point for the entire logo. It instantly gives off the sense of dynamic energy, which is a totally deliberate choice to reflect the vibrant, nonstop pulse of the city itself. And you literally cannot miss how this illustrates the host nation through color. The ribbon isn't just painted with random shades, it uses the specific horizontal red, yellow, and red bands of the Spanish national flag. Without having to write a single word, this color palette instantly anchors the design in Spanish national pride, proudly announcing the host country to everyone watching around the globe. Look closely at the flame. Let's focus on the element sitting right on top. See that bold red fire rising straight out of the central dip of the M? On the surface, sure, it's a traditional Olympic motif. We all know the Olympic flame. But remember that hidden symbol I asked you about at the very beginning? This is where the absolute genius of negative space kicks in. Look right inside the center of the red fire. Notice how the white space, the area where literally nothing is drawn, creates this beautiful, subtle silhouette of a human figure with raised arms. It's a fun little trick our brains play, turning empty air into an athlete. And why do they do this? To perfectly symbolize athletic triumph, pure celebration, and the enduring Olympic spirit. They took a classic symbol and put the human athlete right inside the heart of it. That whole feeling of joyful celebration is then beautifully grounded by the typography. The designers went with a thick, rounded, sans serif black font for Madrid 2044. No accidents here. This specific font makes the whole thing feel friendly, modern, and super easy to read. And to top it off, the whole shebang is anchored at the very bottom by the ultimate symbol of the Games, the classic interlocking 5 Olympic rings. But honestly, the real brilliance of this system reveals itself when we shift over to the Paralympic Games. Notice how the flowing Olympic M on the left curls inward at the bottom? Well, the Paralympic M on the right utilizes a totally different fold. It flares its outer legs outward instead. This deliberate choice gives the Paralympic logo a much wider, way more grounded stance. But looking at these two side by side, you probably noticed a pretty massive element missing from the right side. The flame, along with that clever hidden silhouette, is completely gone. Why? Well, Madrid chose to remove it specifically to honor athletes with physical, visual, and intellectual disabilities. It ensures the symbol focuses entirely on their unique foundation and strength, rather than just borrowing from the traditional Olympic flame. And this deliberate simplification is incredibly powerful. By stripping away that top visual element, it completely shifts the balance of the whole logo. It draws literally all of your visual attention straight down to that flowing, grounded M and those vibrant Spanish national colors. It makes the Paralympic emblem feel unbelievably bold, confident, and firmly rooted in the host nation. To back up this bold new balance, the typography adapts too. It mirrors the Olympic version by keeping that friendly rounded sans serif font, but here they've stacked the words Paralympic Games directly beneath Madrid 2044, using a slightly smaller weight for the bottom line. It maintains a perfectly balanced, modern, clean feel that doesn't pull your eyes away from the ribbon above it. Now, let's see how this works in the host country's native language. When translated to Spanish, reading Juegos Paralímpicos, you can really see how this logo operates holistically as a true piece of national representation. It just feels authentic. The spacing and the weight of the text hold up flawlessly, proving just how versatile this entire design system truly is.
finally, just as the Olympic rings anchored the first design, this Paralympic version is anchored by the agitos. If you aren't familiar with them, those are the red, blue, and green asymmetrical crescents right at the bottom. They are the official symbol of the Paralympic Games. They represent movement, bringing to life their incredible motto, spirit in motion. And that wide, grounded stance of the flared M perfectly balances the dynamic, swirling energy of the agitos underneath it. So there we have it. We've broken down the 3D ribbons, the bold national colors, the clever negative space illusions, the changing stances of the M, and the incredibly deliberate subtractions made to honor athletes with disabilities. Madrid didn't just draw some pretty shapes. They engineered a deeply meaningful visual language. I want to leave you with this final thought. After understanding exactly why every single element was chosen, when you look at these logos now, what do you see? Are they just letters and colors anymore? Or do you see a nation's story unfolding right before your eyes?